So question 6 says, determine whether the equation defines y as a function of x. So again, for y to be a function of x, it has to meet this characteristic here. A function exists when input values, which again we would describe as x values, which we also call domain, goes to a series of calculations, which we will describe as the formula, the part that has adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and squares and square roots, and etc. And we're going to result in what's called output values, which we would call our y values. And again, they're going to be associated with the word range. So if I look at this equation up here, y squared equals 4 minus x squared, notice that x is going through a couple of operations. X is being squared, and we're subtracting that from 4. But notice how y is also being squared. Remember, only the x is going through a series of calculations, not y. So this square being here tells me this does not meet this equation can create ordered pairs, but these ordered pairs are not going to represent a function, because what happens here is if I look at this as, if I pick, say, 1 for x, make it easy on ourselves. If I put 1 in for x, I'm going to have then this y squared out here still is going to equal then this 4 minus, and then you're going to be squaring a 1. So 1 squared would be 1. You'd have 4 minus 1. That would be a 3. So 1 went in and you'd get a 3. But what can you square and get a 3? Well, remember, we have inverse operations here, square root and square. So you could square a 3, a square root of 3, and that would give you a 3. But notice how you can also square a negative number. You can also square root a negative, the negative square root of 3 would also give me a 3. So notice how on this problem here, what squared gives me 3. Notice that y could be equal to then, if I do the square root of oops, let's get out of this. If I do the square root of 3 and a square, oops, let's get that parenthesis in there. Let's come out. If I square that, notice how I do get 3. Also, if I put a negative square root of 3 in there, oops, close parenthesis and square that. Notice how that also gives me a 3. So when 1 went in, the result actually would be, the final result would actually be y squared equals this 3. But notice how in the end, y is going to equal this square root of 3, and it's also going to give me this negative square root of 3. So it's actually giving me 2 different y values, and that cannot be possible. So in the end, you know, we're actually getting 2 different y values here, and that cannot happen. So again, the clue also is the y value cannot be going through a calculation, only the x value. So this is not going to be a function. So this is going to be a no. This is not a function.